I trust myself. So how are we going to figure this out? And I figured it out. That's being a dominatrix. I'm not going to just submit to you because you're threatening me, you're trying to control me. That's not what a dom does. And that's what I mean about being authentic. If you want to play dress up, leave it to Halloween. Have a great time at Halloween. Yeah? If you really want to learn how to be a dominatrix, really embody that archetype. Allow it to run through your veins. Allow it to show up in your day-to-day life. I have had days, and I still feel a bit emotional because I was so alone on my journey. Yeah. I was, there you go. You've just balanced out two personas through the lens of kink. I love the way you say naughty, Lucy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Have Extraordinary Relationships podcast with me, your host, Lucy Cavendish, therapist, author. And I am delighted, more than delighted, to be here today with the fabulous Miss Erica Storm, who you all see is looking amazing. I want to let you know, Erica and I met at the Groucho Club and she in London because we went to see a talk at some unreasonably early time in the morning, like 10 o'clock. And she walked in, I was like, who is that woman? I want to talk to her now. And I'm thrilled that she's agreed to talk to me. So she is a dominatrix. She works with women. She works with men. She helps people discover their kink, or if they know what their kink is, to really get, come to terms with it and use it and enjoy it. She works with women and men. Part of her work, obviously, is therapeutic, and she works in a therapeutic way as well. And she is also interested in and wants to talk about the dark side of being a confident, powerful woman. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
I'm delighted you're here. So one of the first things you said, well, not the first things, but you said to me, I do these workshops where I help people with their kink. And I thought, interesting. So can you tell me more about that? And what if you don't have a kink, or if you don't have a kink, someone wouldn't come in your workshops? Can you just let me know?
And I think that's really important, because I think that people always want to be accepted and always want to be liked. Okay. Yeah. I am not a mug, so therefore I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And that is fine. I'm going to stay in my lane and I'm going to serve me. Yeah, I'm going to do what feels good for me. And with that, I guess a business person will say, oh, you've got a niche. That's what you call having a niche, right? Yeah. And I just say, well, that's just me being authentic. So if you don't have a kink, if my vibe does not attract you, if what I say makes you feel uncomfortable, that's okay. That's your choice. But I'm still going to live in my truth, and I'm still going to help the people that want my help. So with that said, yes, I've been a dominatrix for over a decade. I started when I was 20. I can never remember how old I am, Lucy.
Yeah. I think I can tell you why, because you're a goddess and you're age. You were probably around when Cleopatra was around. You're going to be around here when, the bots are ruling the world. You'll still be here. So we go, you know what? I'm still here.
I'm still here. I think I'm 41, but I might be 42.
All right. But anyway, we're going for it.
But I've been doing it for a very long time. And when I first started, for me, it was a place of liberation. I went to 7 different schools. I was always picked on because I looked different. I always stood out. Right. So I was very much used to having unwanted attention, if you like. And then when I got into the BDSM world, it was a place where I was celebrated for being different. I was celebrated for being this strong, powerful Black woman. I looked very, very different. I had shaved hair, tattoos. I had that real bad bitch energy about me, right?
Yeah, like that.
And everyone's like, oh, so you're dominatrix. And I'm like, no, I'm just a bad bitch. But okay, I'll take that title of dominatrix. So, being 20, being naive, I jumped straight into it. But I was always taught that if you're going to do something, do it right and be the best at what you're going to do, right? Yeah. So I looked at it just like that, just like a business. I created my own brand. I got an amazing catsuit made for me. And I created this persona. But back then, Lucy, I didn't have the vocabulary that I have now. I didn't have the education or the insight that I have now. I didn't know that this was an archetype, right?
Yeah.
I just knew that I was creating, I was embodying this energy, and it felt really, really great. As time went on and I evolved and, became the person I am today, along the way, I realized like, oh, wow, this is my shadow self. And actually, this persona that everyone celebrates, everyone respects, actually it comes from a place of pain, and a lot of pain. So I had a lot of conflict because a part of me was trying to deny that, because I was like, well, I'm no longer in that place anymore. Then I learned how to collaborate with my trauma and was like, no, I can be all of these things. I can embody all of these things. Yes, I used my shadow self to heal myself, and it was from my trauma. Right? That beautiful word, and I don't have to try to justify, I don't have to try to pick. But I also experienced the dark side of being a confident woman. Because everyone, Lucy, talks about being a feminist and, being this independent woman. But no one speaks about being hyper independent.
Oh,
no one speaks
overly
about
resilient, over resilience. Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Not sitting in your femininity, and when we say femininity, well, when I speak of masculinity and femininity, it's not the Western interpretation of it. It's the spiritual meaning of it, as in energy. We all have masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah.
So what I was experiencing was the same thing I experienced when I was 12 years old. The only difference is I was armored with this persona of this dominatrix, but I was still receiving the backlash, if you want to say, of my presence. But I had this hard armor on, and I was like, well, I don't care what other people think about me. I'm always going to show up being myself. But I was still hurting inside, because when you're an individual who knows how to set boundaries, you find that you might start losing people in your life. You might start getting a pushback from those people because they're not getting their way with you. Then you're going to probably find, like I found in relationships, men would gravitate towards me. They liked the fact that I was this confident woman. But then I was almost like, oh, I want to be able to conquer her. I want to be able to over-dominate her. And then just on day-to-day experiences, you would have people trying to challenge my dominancy. And that became very overwhelming for me and very, very frustrating for me. And it was a really dark period of my life. And I still experience it up to today, Lucy. I had a very recent experience. I was just doing my mistress training, and I was just about to have 12 women enter the space. And I've come in, you've met me, Lucy. Even though my presence might be perceived as strong and powerful, I'm very inviting. I'm very, very lovely. Okay.
So lovely.
I'm very, very warm.
You're very warm.
Yes. I'm very, very warm, because my power doesn't come from a place of lack. It doesn't, people misunderstand what power is. I believe that power isn't control. I believe power is influence. So if I'm moving in my feminine divine energy of wanting to influence you for the better, to lead with love and care, then it's never going to come from a place of ego. It's never going to come from a place of, I want to use my stature to overpower you. I've been tall all my life, and I had to learn how to manage my body language so other people didn't feel intimidated by me. If I went out to a social setting and a man and a woman wants to speak with me and their partners, I learned quickly how to position my body so the female doesn't feel intimidated by me, right? That I leaned into her, that my body language was going towards her, because I'm responsible for my sexual energy. And I understand that I have a very strong outlet of that. But I learned all of this as a child, because really when you're 20, 21, 25, you're a child. If a 30-year-old tried to chat me up now, I'd be like, baby, you're a child, So again, I didn't understand what this was until when I became 40, or maybe 35, when I really started understanding psychology and understanding the vocabulary that comes with it. And going back to that story, this individual was trying to dominate me from a place of lack. I've walked in, I've got my mask on, I've got my head wrap on. In fact, I traveled all the way from Croydon in my mask and my head wrap, not because I wanted to make a scene or I was in a need of attention. It's just because getting a head wrap the way I like it can take a bit of time. And I don't have time when I get to the dungeon to organize the slaves, organize the space, mentally prepare, and then worry about my head wrap. So I was like, honey, we're going to put this mask on, we're going to put the hat wrap on, and we're going to roll out. And I got onto London Transport just like that, right? She was triggered by the fact that I was comfortable turning up the way I was turning up. So much so that she came over to me when I was outside, minding my own business, and tried to challenge me as into why I was wearing what I was wearing and trying to interpret it as me not respecting the space. No one doesn't know where I'm going. I'm sitting here minding my own business. Then to go into the dungeon and then for her to try to use her body language and the fact that I need something from her, which is the space, to try to dominate me. Now, Lucy, honey, if this was 15 years ago, it would have been a problem for her.
Yeah, you would have knocked her. No, not really.
It would have ended very, very well. But I've learned how to control my emotions and to surrender. Because if I was just in my dominant energy, in my ego, I would have made sure to overpower her. You have the power to make anyone feel as small as possible, as well as having the power to make someone feel as big as possible. It's called the power of the tongue. In that moment, I had to choose to surrender because I had to think about those 12 other women that are coming into the space. I had to think about my slaves that are with me. And I think that's just a prime example of what it's like being someone who is out there, someone who's unapologetic, someone who turns up in their truth, and also a great example of the power of learning when to surrender. Not everything has to be a fight.
Yes, but a few things there, and of course we're only going to talk about what you're comfortable talking about. So, and you don't actually know. So what I'm hearing also is that this started out from trauma. So quite often, that 20-year-old is in a defense place, isn't she? She's sort of sassy and she's a dominatrix and all that. But you're saying that you realize that some of that came from trauma.
The whole reason why my shadow self was created was from trauma. If you look at my business, Lucy, everything that I've created has been a collaboration with my trauma. My infamous Strut Masterclass. That's because I went to 7 different schools and I know what it's like to walk into a space unknown. I know what it's like to be the tall person. I know what it's like to walk into the dinner room, the canteen, and have the whole school stop and look at you. And you still have to walk with your head high.
Awful. I mean,
right?
You told me in school photographs, they just kept saying, get in the back, go the back, and that's just because you're tall.
Yes, and that word, you're too tall, right? Oh, you're too tall. No, I'm not too tall. I'm just tall. But that language.
Yes, you're too tall. Be smaller. Be shorter. Be more acceptable.
Yes, and then it was coming from adults. It was adults who were telling those stupid jokes. Oh, how's the weather up there? These are adults.
Oh my God.
So, it's that word "and" because I'm going to just make reference to like my upbringing, if I may.
Yes, please.
I come from an upbringing where I was very much taught to be the strong Black girl, then the strong Black woman. Whatever you do, you have to do it 10 times better. So because I was from a council estate as well, because I think your environment plays a huge part of this, I was always in survival mode. I know that we're going to speak about making reference where I say, wherever I sit, I always know the entrances. Because I've come from a place of always needing to be in survival mode, right? And I wasn't actually, I don't want to say the word aloud, but I wasn't really given the space to sit and be vulnerable. So when I'm unwell, it will be like, you're unwell, but you didn't die. let's get on with it. Right? Now, has that served me? Absolutely, it served me. Because Lucy, you would have never known only 3 months ago, and then he died. Right? Because of that training from being at such a young age where it's like, don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't fall into that victim mode, okay? You are powerful, you are powerful, you are powerful. So it has served me. And it has hurt me.
Yes.
Right? So again, I go back to the power of collaborating. And if I can always come from a place of how can I collaborate with this trauma? How can I collaborate with this experience? Then I'm always subscribing to the hero of my own story instead of the victim.
Yes. I mean, I think that thing I mean, I talk a lot about seeing vulnerability as a strength rather than defending against it. You know, if I'm vulnerable, I'm weak, I'm a victim, I'm going, you know, rather than sometimes we are victimized. I don't really like the word victim, but sometimes, you know, we go through really serious, traumatic events, and it's perfectly fine to say, I'm hurt. This has hurt me.
Absolutely.
I don't feel well.
Absolutely.
It's not good.
Yeah. But it took me a long time to be able to do that, to ask for help, to feel comfortable enough to be vulnerable. And that's why I created the Alchemy of Her, because I believe that our pain is what we can help other people with. I think, who would I have been if I didn't have that pain? Because I probably wouldn't have become a dominatrix, right? I probably would have never created the Strut Masterclass, the Mistress training. I wouldn't have, because they all come from my pain.
Yes. So tell me about the Mistress Masterclass. What happens in that? You've got these women, 12 of them. What happens? What attracts them to it? What brings them to you?
All different types of individuals come. I have psychotherapists. The most popular careers are psychotherapists and lawyers and barristers. Statistically, they make up most of my clients.
Free thinkers, interested.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But also, I think the women that are barristers or lawyers, they work in such male-dominated environments, and they want to know how to navigate those sorts of environments. Yes. I don't believe in navigating with masculinity energy. You can't, masculine and masculine don't go. So it's all about being able to use your feminine energy to influence. Why? Because influence is power.
What do you mean by influence?
Someone who is trying to control an individual is coming from a place of what do they want?
Yes.
Lucy, I want you to go and make me a cup of tea. And I want you to make it perfect for me. Influence. Lucy, I know that you love making tea. And I would love if you could make me a cup of tea just the way how you like it. But please don't forget that I like almond milk.
Yes, completely different. I'm so going to make the tea for the second person. I'm not going to make the tea for the first person. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is
a difference between control and influence.
Because you're using your body differently and your voice.
Yes. So it was quite interesting because last night we had our first session of Alchemy of Her, and one individual felt that being confident meant that it was hurting somebody else. And isn't it interesting, Lucy? I'm sure you probably see this in your practice, how people or what people attach to a word.
Yes.
That they identify with, and that keeps them safe. Oh, I better not be confident, because confidence means that I'm going to make the other person feel uncomfortable. And I'm too much of a nice person to make someone else feel uncomfortable.
Yes. So this really gets
and then
they stay therapy, right? Gets in the realm of therapy, doesn't it?
Yes. Which is why I think that I do have so many people coming to me to kink therapy, because it's not necessarily about having a kink, right? Because kink means not straight. Kink is not being perfect. That's why I'm the kink therapist. It has a double meaning. Yes, I'm kinky. I own that I'm kinky. I love being kinky. But I don't want to be straight. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I'm messy. I color outside the lines. I'm wild. I'm crazy. I'm also sensible, down to earth, right? I'm all these things. And by being my authentic self, I only want to attract other people that are aligned with my values, right? So I help them through the lens of kink. So a prime example would be an individual who is sub, yeah? And when we say sub, I mean, for my body of work, leans into their submissive energy. They're the individual that doesn't know how to set boundaries. That's the individual that doesn't know how to say no.
Yeah.
Now, someone might challenge me and say, but subs are, they know what they want. They are in control. Absolutely. But we're not talking about that aspect of it. We're talking about the power of the sub that is comfortable with surrendering.
Yes.
But only if you are comfortable being dominant. So I help them identify, okay, why are you uncomfortable with saying no? Where did that come from?
Yeah, people pleasing. Yeah. If I say
right, when did that? Exactly. So you are trading in your wants for the exchange of likability currency.
Yeah.
So I help them to take the good bits about being a sub. Well, yeah, I know how to surrender. Great. Okay, so that's one thing we can take from it. Now let's build on that sub energy. Yeah, a true sub knows what they want.
Yes.
They're not afraid to express what they want. Okay, now let's look at your dom energy. What does dom energy mean to you? They might say, oh, being able to stick up for myself. Okay, great. How can we balance that aspect and the aspect of you being sub? How can we collaborate that together? Well, I can know when to say no. I can feel comfortable with setting my boundaries, but I'm also okay to walk away from a fight. There you go. You've just balanced out two personas through the lens of kink.
Fascinating. So when you were 20, so you went to all these, did you go to lots of schools because you were naughty and you kept getting expelled, or did you just move around?
I love the way you say naughty, Lucy.
You're naughty. You were naughty. You wouldn't behave. They were like, get that girl out.
It wasn't that I was naughty. It was because there was always an issue in the school.
Right.
So I was fighting every single day. And I was fighting the older girls.
Were you?
Fighting.
My gosh.
I was fighting every single day. Sometimes I was fighting 2 or 3 girls at the same time. Sometimes boys came down to fight me because the girls told them stories.
They were like,
oh yeah, I remember one time I had a whole gang come down to my school, and they had knives and baseball bats and everything.
Awful. That's terrible. That's really fun.
Yeah. So my mum shipped me off to Barbados.
Is your mum from Barbados or family from Barbados?
Yeah, she's half Bajan and half St. Lucian.
Ooh. So you went to Barbados. How old were you when you went to Barbados?
I think I was probably 12, maybe. I have this thing where I don't really remember my timelines from when I was young. It's all a bit of a blur.
Yes.
I think it's because so much trauma happened in my life in such a small amount of time over those years in my youth that I've kind of just shut that part down. So I can make reference, but I can never remember exactly how old I was, or even the year or the month that an incident may have occurred.
But you go from London, you're fighting, I mean, serious fights, not just a little bit of fisticuffs. I mean, proper fighting, and your mother steps in, quite probably rightly, and says, she's got to go somewhere else. And you go to the county, and that's not where you grew up in London. So it must have been, must have been quite.
It was definitely absolutely. It was definitely a culture shock. But again, this is another prime example. Going to 7 different schools, Lucy, people are like, oh my God, that's so scary. That's terrible. Like, but now I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm used to being in new environments.
Yeah.
I'm used to connecting with, that's why I'm such a good interactor. I can interact with anybody. I can go anywhere new and feel comfortable because I experienced going to 7 different schools. And I didn't allow that experience to control me. I didn't allow that experience to suppress me. I used that experience because of the teachings of my parents. Be strong. You are, divine. Like, you have the power over you. I never looked at these things as something terrible. It's only other people that named it bullying. It's other people that give it these labels. And I'm like, oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I was bullied. Was I really bullied? Because I grew up with, if you came home with bruises and you didn't hold your own, you're going to be in trouble. So I never really identified with that word bullying. I make reference to it now for people to understand the experience, because we can all kind of imagine what bullying feels like, right?
Yes, it's horrible, humiliating. And bullying comes in many different forms, right? Comes in many.
Exactly.
It's actually about how the person
is. But bullying, it wasn't just at school I was fighting. Being in a council estate, there were times I would leave my front door, literally leave my front door. I remember one time my mum was downstairs. We was going out and we left something upstairs. She goes, oh, babes, go and run upstairs and get it for me. And I went upstairs. And as I came out, going down the stairs in the council estate, these 3 girls jumped me. And this is just a normal day. I'm trying to go somewhere with my mum, So I've always been in survival mode. Yes, I became this dominatrix and very successful from it, but it came from a place of darkness.
Yes, and survival. I'm going to ask you a few questions about it. So people don't, I think a lot of people are very fascinated about what it is to be a dominatrix. And what makes a good dominatrix? So I have images of a woman walking around in, mainly a woman in kind of leather and high heel boots, getting men to do the cleaning, which I think sounds fabulous personally, right? And it doesn't really involve sex. But it involves nuanced stuff. Is that right, or have I got that completely wrong?
Yeah, I always say a dominatrix is whoever the fuck she wants to be. We create our own rules. It's our own world. I believe a true dominatrix is someone who understands her power, takes responsibility for the influence that she has over the individual, is able to create a safe enough space for another human to trust them so much that they go into subspace and that they surrender everything to you. For me, being a dominatrix is a spiritual experience. When I go into dom space, it's like going into a different realm, and I'm connected so deeply with that other person's energy that I can feel them. I can feel their heartbeat. I'm paying so much attention to that human being that I can see the hair standing up on their skin. I get into their psyche, and it's this beautiful dance of exchange of energy that allows both of us to fulfill our desire, him into subspace and me into dom space. That's what it is for me to be a dominatrix.
Wow. That's very powerful.
Yeah.
So it's more complicated than it kind of maybe looks to people or appears to. It's more complicated.
Yeah, I think for me, there's a level of disappointment when I see so much of it on social media. And I'm like, no, that's you're missing the beautiful part of it. It really feels like you have to be initiated into becoming a dom, because it isn't about telling somebody get on their knees. Because how else can you dominate someone? I can tell you 100 ways that you can. I can dominate someone without even talking, right? So I feel like we've romanticized over this grand gesture of get on your knees. Oh, I don't even scream. I don't raise my voice or anything like that. In fact, the more quieter I am, and the more I take time for my words to land, and the more that I'm more attentive to the person, the more I'm able to see every part of you move, that I can say, Lucy, you're nodding your head right now, aren't you? Because you're in agreement with me, yes?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I love it.
It's me. It's
yes. Well, you feel very seen and heard and attended to.
Exactly.
Yeah, just with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you're slowing your energy down, your voice is lowered, you really look, yeah, I see it in that little sentence. Didn't really amazing.
Yeah, which is why I took responsibility of training women. And not anyone can train with me. Sometimes I say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to signpost you. I think that you should do therapy. This is before I started my own therapy practice. Now, some of my clients, I say, okay, I understand why you want to be a dominatrix. However, we really have to look at X, Y, Z, because you need to be aware of your triggers. You need to be aware of where your shadow self came from, because when you go into that kink space, you're holding a safe container for both of you.
Yeah.
So I may offer a 6-week therapy program before I train them, because I need to be responsible for what I'm putting out there, right?
Yes.
And that's why I say I teach the art of domination. That's why I refer to this as a spiritual experience. You know, Carl Jung makes references to the 12 archetypes. This is something that can really help empower you, can really help heal you if you do it the right way. If you're ready to really take that deep look at yourself and see your weaknesses and see your strengths, and then adopt the dominant character throughout your life. For example, Lucy, whether you tell me I'm great or whether you tell me I'm shit, they both hold the same weight. But it doesn't change how I feel about myself.
Yes.
I do not rely on outside validation to fuel who I am in my core. One way it keeps you humble and grounded, but also it gives you peace, because the only person you're relying on is yourself. That to me has been a dominatrix. Or are you just a dress up dominatrix? Are you just a dominatrix that puts on the leather boots and the whips? But when it comes to real life, you can't stand up for yourself. A prime example, Lucy, I used to teach for more yoga, and they were trying to micromanage me. And my dominant character, Madam Storm, was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I would literally have conversations with myself, like, they don't know who the fuck I am. You know, like, I would get this like deep rage, and I thought to myself, all those other people that they do this to, that they bully, you know, messaging me outside of normal hours, not taking my no for my no. And no, honey, my no is my full sentence. And then what they try to do, which I'm sure a lot of people that work a 9 to 5 or in the corporate world have experienced, they try to control me with my pay. They tried to control me with how many classes they would give me. They tried to impact my money. But what they didn't know is that I'm a dominatrix. And the only person that controls my pay is me. I am the source. You can't control me and you can't threaten me. So they owe me nearly $3,000 because I would not allow them to control me. I didn't have any money. Right? And then he lost my land because I had to pay a certain amount of money every month and I wasn't able to do it. That's being a true dominatrix. That's sitting with self and saying, I'm not allowing anybody to control me. Not money, not anything, not any situation. Okay, how are we going to figure this out? Because I trust myself. I trust myself. So how are we going to figure this out? And I figured it out. That's being a dominatrix. I'm not going to just submit to you because you're threatening me, you're trying to control me. That's not what a dom does. And that's what I mean about being authentic. If you want to play dress up, leave it to Halloween. Have a great time at Halloween. Yeah. If you really want to learn how to be a dominatrix, really embody that archetype. Allow it to run through your veins. Allow it to show up in your day-to-day life.
Wow. So Do men try and date you, or women try and date you, or do they all just go, ah?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, men trying to date me, women trying to date me.
And when you really are in your, I mean, you are, you know, you really have that, and it's really hard to put it into words, I think. What that, for me, it's like saying to people it's a mind, body, spirit connection, but it sounds a bit, you know, that's a bit meaningless. It's a bit kind of like, what is that? But when you've got that oomph where you absolutely know that you are being authentic, whatever that means to you, it's very compelling. It's very attractive. It's very sexy. But a lot of people kind of go, I can't, what do I do with that? I don't know how to, I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah. And I wish that the services that I offer, I wish I had that. Lucy, I have had days, and I still feel a bit emotional because I was so alone on my journey.
Yeah.
I was, oh.
Yeah.
And then you find yourself having to constantly stick up for yourself when you're being your authentic self, because people want to challenge you. Then you get into relationships where then they try to control you. They try to overpower you. They try to break you down. And the ugly truth is, there are individuals out there that don't want you to be strong. They don't want you to be authentic. They want to be able to influence you. And if that individual can't influence you the way that they want to influence you, they get angry. Then they try to weaponize things against you. I've been in situations where a partner would rile me up, then get the camera to record my reaction and then say, how would you feel if I told all your clients what you're really like?
That's outrageous. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's,
you know, or I remember one
messed up place. That is from a very messed up place.
Oh yeah, I've got many stories like that. Stories of there were times I delivered a speech in front of hundreds of people, and you didn't even know that I was homeless then, or my ex just said something to try to destroy me just before I stand on stage or just before I take a photo, and it's that mental battle. But also, I want to take responsibility for those toxic relationships. Because like I said, I'm never in the energy of being the victim. I'm always in the energy of being my own superhero, in Joseph Campbell's words. So I said, what is it about these relationships that I like, that I'm attracting? Yeah, what I'm attracting, what I'm allowing. Because I'm powerful, right? So if I'm powerful, that means I'm giving away my power. So why did I choose to give away my power? What did I learn from that? What am I going to heal from that experience? Instead of saying, oh, I just always attract the same sort of guys and I just can't get a good guy. No. That's not my story.
The thing is to look at the pattern, which is what, yeah, exactly. What is the information I need to know about?
Yes. And Lucy, this is the first interview that I've done where I'm actually going to say this. There was one guy in particular who I dated from when I was 12 years old, and he's been in and out of my life ever since. Yeah? Toxic, absolute asshole, narcissist, mean, everything that you can imagine. Yeah? But the way he made me feel when he was in my presence, I felt overwhelmed by him.
Yeah.
And that is what I liked. I had never felt that feeling of being submissive. And because I wasn't giving myself the space to be submissive, this was my outlet. So regardless of what he did to me, whether he was mentally abusive, whether he was physically abusive, whether he was disrespectful, I still allowed him back in my life because of that feeling, And in layman terms, people say, oh, I love a bad boy. No, you like the toxic energy.
Well, it's the hit, and you want the hit. So we're in the realm of addiction. It's an addiction. You want the hit.
Yes.
I don't mean but you want the hit. I want to go back to that really great.
Yes.
Even if that really great feeling comes from a very difficult place.
Yes. So, and as a psychologist, I'm analyzing this. I'm like, okay, so yes, there are aspects of familiarity from childhood. Yes. But actually, let's be brave with myself for a moment. No, I liked it. Oh, that's my kink. Oh, then it was like a light bulb went in my head, because I don't have low self-esteem. I don't have low confidence. There was none of those things. It's because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the rush of energy. I enjoyed him not knowing if he's coming over or not. And then when he does come over, it feels even better because he chose to come over. I enjoyed crying. I enjoyed playing those sad songs. I fucking enjoyed the pain. I enjoyed feeling sad.
Yeah. We're in the world of Keats, and Millions, where you just think, actually, I'm actually rather loving being low and depressed and miserable. I kind of get something out of it. Imagine being happy. How awful.
Yes.
Well,
and
now
that gave me so much freedom.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I absolutely enjoyed it. I don't know if the world is ready for my philosophy yet, but once I understood that I enjoyed it, I was able to cut that cord. I didn't need to go there again. And I thought, oh, if I ever want to feel that way, I can go and play safe in a container. I can now articulate to a partner, babe, do you know what? Sometimes I want to feel over dominated. Sometimes I want you to, put your hand around my neck, right? I can articulate what I want and how I want to feel in a safe container, with respect, with boundaries, with love.
So what's the philosophy? You said, is the world ready for my philosophy?
I think the philosophy is this. If you find yourself in these toxic dynamics and you keep going back and back, there's a level of addiction there.
Yeah.
And if there's a level of addiction there, that means it's something that you desire and that's something that you want. And there may be a kink in that.
Yeah.
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 Are you addicted to being triggered by your partner?
Well, quite often people are addicted to that because it makes them feel alive, right? Hurt and pain and love and sturm and drang and drama makes them know they're alive. Whereas sort of steady, beautiful, abundant love, which we all say we want, they don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Makes them feel like they're flatlined.
Yeah, but you can book a session for that, babes. There's so many different dominatrices out there with different services. You can literally book a session for that. You can book a session for humiliation, right? If you're the aggressor, then be a dom and have a pet that you can talk those words to. There are outlets for this. And I think there's such beauty in kink. Not only can it help you understand yourself, not only can it help you heal, but all humans are supposed to play.
Yes.
We come alive when we play. And no matter what anyone wants to say about kinksters, they're happy playing, honey. And it's just that. It's a scene. We call it a scene. And we're playing. We step outside of that container, outside of that scene, and we come back into the vanilla world. Yeah. And then you find most of them balanced because that both parts of them are satisfied.
Yeah. We all love to play. So we could go on forever, but we can't. So tell me, what do you want people to know about you? Where can they find you? What are you offering? I mean, I'm sure people will really want to reach out to you. So
you can find, I've got two websites. Mistresstraining.co.uk is for anyone who's interested in learning the arts of domination.
Yeah.
So there's Mistress Training on there. There's couples training on there where I help you to introduce kink into a relationship and play safely.
Great. I think that's really
important. It really is. And it's also supported with kink therapy because it's very important that we identify when it's play and when it's abuse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, go and visit the Mistress Training website. It's got my mentoring on there and it's got my training on there. Then for therapy, you can go to the kinktherapist.co.uk, and that's where I help individuals explore the different archetypes. That's where I help individuals understand their shadow self. That's where I also offer coaching called Dominate Your Life. And that's my expertise on being an NLP practitioner, neuro-linguistic practitioner. And that's combined with my hypnotherapy skills. And I really help you to make that change and to create habits that align to the version of you that you want to be. I'm all about that transformation, right? I don't really subscribe to that feeling of keep doing this course, keep doing that, stay in therapy for years. No, you have the power to change. So my coaching program is all about helping you to change, give you the tools that allow you to continue to grow throughout your life. Then we have the Alchemy of Her, which you can find on the Kink Therapy website. I think it's my best work to date. It's a 5-week program where we really go through the journey of understanding the dom and sub persona, understanding how to integrate the two, because I believe there are many women who are hyper independent. They feel scared to ask for help. They feel scared to surrender. And there's also individuals that are scared to show up for themselves. There's individuals that are scared to say no.
Yeah.
So that is this journey are for those individuals who really want to learn about who they are, who want to unlearn the learning that they've learned and create their own archetypes and free themselves from shame. And then we have my fabulous podcast called the Kink Therapist Podcast, which will be launching soon. And that's all about my life. Things like what me and you spoke about, Lucy, my journey, the things that I did, things that I embodied to really help me become a happier version of myself, and how I used my trauma to create my empire.
Well, wonderful. So that's going to be coming soon. You're on Instagram?
Yes, at Miss Erica Storm and at the Kink Therapist Podcast.
Fantastic. So lots of ways of finding you. It's been so fascinating. You're so generous with your time and your words, and it's been really wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed my time today. And just for anyone who is listening to this, the next Alchemy of Her intake is the 30th of September. Once you enroll, it's a private space. So you can't just drop in on any week. You have to enroll before enrollment closes. And we start on the 30th of September and enrollment is now open.
Thank you.